Very warm good morning to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Anil Sagrup ji, Session Chair, Shri Rajput ji, Secretary General, Dr. R.P. Singh, Madhu ji, all my colleagues from QCI, NABET, panelists and participants. It's really a privilege and honor for me to share my ideas with the galaxy of other speakers in this discussion on reconfiguration of school in light of NEP 2020. As we all are aware that QCI started its journey almost 22 years back. In the beginning of its journey, it has taken very baby steps to develop itself. In last 5 years, there has been exponential rise in the activities of QCI, where QCI has made its implicit or explicit presence in all walks of the life. Just for making informative to the audience, whether it is the user friendliness of the police station or we are paying the right value of the coal based on its calorific value, whether GEM portal is providing us with the right kind of product, right kind of quality, right kind of systems, where we have the institution buying for the government, the onus is on the QCI. We are preventing our toddlers and children from chemical exposure to hazardous toys. When you go for medical care or pathological investigation or any industrial product, the SOPs are guaranteed. You get the right kind of medical care at minimal economical pricing. We try to ensure it. I don't say that we are 100% robust, but definitely we are trying to bring a change in the quality ecosystem of the country to impact the life of the common man, whether it is a Swachh Bharat mission. I'm happy to share that in this COVID pandemic, all the COVID testing laboratories are NABEL certified, which is one of the constituent board of the QCI. For any greenfield project or expansion of infrastructure project, it is the EIA assessment report prepared by accredited consultant of QCI. Now, even for the use of groundwater, the report is required from accredited consultant of QCI. We are also into evaluating assessment of schools for safety, security, quality intervention, hand-holding, teacher evaluation, and certification. We had worked in the area of lean manufacturing, where we try to improve the efficiency, efficacy, and productivity of our MSME sector. We are also working on the zero effect, zero defect, as initiated by Honorable Prime Minister of India to give impetus to our industrial productivity. I would say definitely we have explicit or implicit presence across the country. We have made the growth in terms of our activities, its variety, its diversification, its revenue model, our interaction with stakeholders, our presence across the ministries and departments. Now I would like to come to the theme of the day. We would appreciate that India is a land of rich cultural heritage, where in our ancient scriptures, we talk of goddess of education, Saraswati, and it was then followed by the Lord Macaulay system in colonial era, where we are given a structured and a formal system of education. In post-independence era, we have been trying to improvise upon this system to fulfill the loopholes and the gaps. There was a Kothari Commission, there was National Policy of Education 86, there was Program of Action 2002, there was a little thing in National Knowledge Commission. The state governments had been working in this area at their own levels. We have tried to augment the system with the special sessions on education by Doordarshan, then the satellite of our ISRO, where we talked of received only terminal, satellite interactive terminal, and so on. But I still feel the basic challenges are still the same. The gap between haves and have-nots is widening, especially in this pandemic era. The digital divide has expanded, where the access to the internet connectivity, access to the hardware devices, the poor and the 71% approximately population participating in the school education is deprived of. On one hand, we have schools which are with 5-star infrastructure, with all modern ICCT facilities, smart classrooms, where their messing is done by the hospitality chains. They have air-conditioned transport facilities. On the other hand, we have one set of schools where the barometer of success is measured by their students qualifying in the engineering or the medicine examination of prominent institutions of the country. Or there are certain schools which define the status symbol of the parents and the wards being enrolled. On the other hand, in the rural area, we have schools which are in kacha building, single room, no boundary wall, no toilets, single teacher or no teacher, difficult access. So there are issues of inclusivity, access, and the quality education to the masses. That is definitely a fact which is being faced. There are routine problems which we had been facing for last 70 years, whether it is the quality of teachers, quantity of teachers, vacancy of teachers, involvement of teachers, teacher doing all the jobs except for the teaching, whether enumerator in a for the population register or in the polio drive they are involved, or election duty and whatnot. Now the challenges almost remain the same or they have enhanced. The gap has widened. I do appreciate that NEP at the end of the day is a wonderful document, policy document, which has been prepared with involvement of stakeholders. A lot of input has been given from various quarters, from the end user to the policymaker, educationists, academicians, bureaucrats, political inputs, all other education organizations which are connected directly or indirectly. They have contributed in framing of this NEP. It has been put to public domain for inviting their comments and observations. And as far as possible, they have been incorporated. It talks of flexibility, it talks of interdisciplinary, it talks of research, it talks of separation of powers, it talks of the right kind of a financial layout. But the end question is, are we prepared with the action plan? Are we prepared to act upon? Although I am very happy to share, in the recent past, I am finding certain changes. For example, Bureau of Indian Standards had setting up various committees for standards. Similarly, CBSE has constituted its committees for redefining of standards for the school education. They are restructuring their affiliation system, making it more user-friendly with a larger technology interface, reducing the human interface, and so on. Certain state governments have to taken the lead, like Haryana and others, which have already constituted the committees to work upon accreditation model for their states. So definitely there is a proactive approach from various stakeholders. But looking at the size of the country, the regional disparities in our country, the aspirations of the different stakeholders, what is the kind of time frame when we are likely to reach that maturity model? I feel sometimes saddened that very small countries like Netherlands, Switzerland, or Finland talk of very established school education systems. They are the role models for the globe. And we, of such a large size of the country, we are unable to cope up or come to that level of standard. Some of the government schools have definitely made some uplift movement. One of the very prime examples is Delhi government, which has taken certain proactive steps in improving the quality and participation, not only in terms of infrastructure, learning outcomes, facilitating their students, and showcasing in a right format. Even Niti Aayog has acknowledged it. NCRT, Niti Aayog, CBSE, NCRT all have come with a different kind of evaluation and assessment techniques in recent past to measure the learning outcomes, to measure them on the various parametric framework, how they are performing. Similarly, we are also trying to incorporate certain international standards like PISA and other things to measure the competency and the learning level of our students. I would like to add one thing. What is the end game of our school education? Are we preparing them as robots to participate in the rat race of this world by having an access to quality higher education, by getting good and high grades? Are we preparing them for a good citizen, a good human being, where they are sensitive to the problems and the concern of the others? Are we preparing them to face the life coping challenges? In my understanding, the focus has to be laid on prepare good human beings, good citizens. If they are good humans, good citizens, they would automatically excel in their area of work. So somehow there has to be a paradigm shift in the focus of the objective of the school education. We have to shift from this understanding of rote learning, evaluating based on a uniform examination pattern, in our higher education system, giving admissions based on process of elimination. We have to shift ourselves on the aptitude testing to develop the school children as per their aptitude, to inculcate right kind of analytical ability, problem solving quality, application based questionnaire frameworks, and so on. I do understand it's a big challenge. It's not an easy task where we are struggling to have very basic amenities in most of our rural schools or semi-rural schools, especially in the government sector. But at the end of the day, we have to set the deadlines. We have to put challenge before ourselves, and somebody has to take the drive to cross those barriers. We have to have equal access and inclusiveness in this wide disparity demographic constitution of our country. Again, I do believe that NEP would able to do justice to all these challenges, and as NABET and QCI, we are likely to chip in terms of quality improvement, accreditation, assessment, evaluation of teachers, students, improvement upon the learning outcomes, hand holding of various stakeholders as a collaborator, as a partner, not as a monitor, to uplift the education standards of the country. With this belief, I pass on the stage to the next speaker, Honorable Secretary General. Before that, Dr. Walia may like to introduce our Secretary General, who is the keynote speaker for the session of the day. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to all participants and giving me this opportunity to air my views. Namaskar, Jai Hind.